Hey everyone, let's talk a little bit about October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, so this one might be a little heavy. Hi, I'm Dr. Brace. I'm an OBGYN resident and mom of 5. I've also had my own pregnancy losses. We're going to talk a little bit about that today, so just trigger warning, if this is too much for you, please just scroll. I completely understand, but for the rest of you, please follow, like, share, post. I would love to hear what your stories are. What questions do you have about pregnancy loss, about infant loss? So let's get into it a little bit. So October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. It is a special month for me. So we have had 3 different pregnancy losses. My husband and I have had a miscarriage. We've had an ectopic pregnancy, and then our daughter actually had a twin that we lost in the 2nd trimester. So it's something that I'm very intimately aware of as I'm talking to my patients about what's going on. One of the most frustrating things about being an OBGYN resident, and one of the most difficult things that I have to do, is go in and tell a patient that their pregnancy is not viable or that they've lost a pregnancy. And what makes it difficult is that I usually don't have answers. Sometimes I do, but for the most part, I don't have an answer as to why this has happened. A lot of 1 in 4 pregnancies end in a loss, and the majority of those happen in the 1st trimester. The vast majority of those are due to chromosomal abnormalities, but there's a decent percentage of those that even if we do genetic testing, we don't have a good answer for why that pregnancy wasn't healthy, why that pregnancy didn't go to term. And so one of the most frustrating things and most difficult things that I have to say is, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. All I can tell you is that you didn't do anything wrong. You did everything right. I had a patient recently that has been doing just everything right for a really long time, and she's never gotten to hold a baby in her own baby in her arms. And it's really hard when you can't give people answers and you just have to say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So let's also talk about some things maybe not to say to some of these moms. You can try again next time. It wasn't even a baby. You shouldn't be sad. Things like, at least you got pregnant. There's a lot of things that people say trying to be really well-meaning and thoughtful, and unfortunately for a lot of patients, for a lot of moms, because they're moms, whether they've been pregnant for a minute, a day, a year, it doesn't matter. That loss can still be just as profound and just as devastating. And it's really hard to put yourself in someone else's shoes. So holding space for them, being there for them, offering comfort, whether it's in gesture or in words, is really important. And I think that's why I kind of land on, this is terrible and awful and it sucks. I'm just so sorry, because there really aren't words to express, to really convey how much this hurts. The other thing that I really like to do for my patients is remind them that grief isn't something that's ongoing, that even if they have other children or they go on to have other children, it doesn't mean that they're not going to wonder and think and miss and mourn a pregnancy that they've lost. So our daughter is now 3. She is wonderful and perfect, and we have had another healthy pregnancy after we lost her twin, but there are still times and still moments 3 years later where my husband and I will look at each other and we just know that, what would it be like if there were 2 of them? And that is something that I think anybody who had pregnancy loss or lost an infant knows. And I think it's, while you can be excited and so happy for your current pregnancy or subsequent pregnancies or with the children that you have, I do think that it's really important to remember it is also okay to grieve what you lost, because I think in general we don't always talk about that. We don't talk about the hurt and the sad. This is an app where we share happy things and joyous things, which I love, but there are also times where it's just sad. And not only is October Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, but today in clinic was just a day where we really had to remember that as joyous and happy as a lot of my job is, there are times where it is not so much fun. The only answers that I have are, I'm sorry. That's the only thing that I can say is I'm sorry. And I don't have any answers. It's really, really hard when we don't have answers, because there's always the what if. So for those of you that have experienced this loss, I'm so sorry. For those of you that haven't, I hope you never do. But if you have, I also hope that you have people around you that will support you and love you and give you the care that you need to get through it. Because you will. It's hard, but you will.